I do think maybe there is a little bit more crime than there was when I first moved here over 30 years ago.
From comments like it's not your father's St. Cloud anymore to St. Cloud isn't what it used to be, there is a belief by some that crime in St. Cloud is higher than it's ever been, and it's not a safe place to live. Is this just a perception, or is this our reality?
I don't think it's any more than any other, city.
St. Cloud Assistant Police Chief Jeff Oxton says the numbers don't match the perception. He says Part 1 offenses, which are the most serious crimes, were actually down by 433 in 2016 compared to the year before. And if you go back and look at the numbers over each of the past 25 years, Part 1 offenses haven't changed much. Oxton says one area of serious crimes where we have seen an uptick is in robberies, which has more than doubled since the early 1990s. So how are we doing compared to the rest of Minnesota? Oxton says statistics prove that we as a city pretty much match the state as a whole.
We mirror the state, and so and we're below in many areas. Some of the areas we're slightly higher in, you'd expect, just given, again, the age of the people we serve in this town. And so there's nothing in there that would surprise you, I think.
Both at the city level and at the state level, about 3/4 of the Part 1 crimes committed are larceny, also known as theft. Oxton does acknowledge that all calls for service are up, but that includes everything from medical calls to crashes to nuisance calls. Meanwhile, while serious crime stats in St. Cloud are stable, the county attorney's office has never been busier prosecuting crime. So why is that? Oxton says better police work is leading to more charges being filed against people getting arrested.
What that means is anytime we make an arrest and send a case to her office, there are some that they just feel they can't prosecute for whatever reason it might be. But we're seeing fewer of those, and we're sending more cases. So to me, that would be the answer for why there's more filings.
Better police work?
It could be better police work, and that, I would always suggest that's what it is.
Mayor Dave Clay says the St. Cloud Police Department has one of the highest clearance rates in the country when it comes to solving crimes. Stearns County Attorney Janelle Kendall says her office is dealing with the highest number of cases she's ever seen. A little over half of them are coming from St. Cloud. The attorney's office had 1,144 felony-level filings in 2016. That's about double the number from 2000. The biggest increases are in person crimes and drug-related offenses. Kendall says there's a correlation between the court cases going up and their crackdown on sex trafficking in recent years.
Maybe 20 of those felonies that you're seeing of over 1,000 are trafficking. But the calls that we're getting and the situations that we're getting involved in, I know Rochester saw this when Olmsted County started getting involved in trafficking too, is that they not only found the trafficking crimes, but they found the assaults and the drug crimes and the gang-related stuff that went with a lot of that.
Charged with third-degree criminal sexual conduct.
Kendall says because sex crimes are more high-profile and they make the news, that could also lead to the perception that there's an increase in crime. The good news is both Kendall and Oxton agree. When it comes to crimes like an assault, it's rare that you're going to be attacked by a stranger.
Our current year, of the felony level assaults, so assault 1, 2, or 3, 80% of those are committed by a person that knows the person they're assaulting.
Not to say that that never happens, but it's 5 to 1. I mean, you've got the numbers there. It's dramatically less likely that it will be a stranger attack.
Kendall says one bright spot her office is seeing is the number of crimes being committed by kids is going down.
Juvenile crime is going way down, but child protection is going way up. So it's not the kids that are doing something wrong, it's the adults that are not engaging with these kids the way we need them to do.
Felony level filings were at 93 in 2016 compared to 219 in 2000. Meanwhile, child protection filings more than doubled during that same period. So how safe do we as a community feel in our own town?
I feel comfortable staying out till maybe 12, 1 o'clock in the morning and walking the streets.
I don't think there's a large, violent crime, at least that I've been, exposed to.
The city commissioned a survey earlier this year, which was conducted by St. Cloud State University. Of the people who responded to that survey, 93% say they feel safe in their own neighborhood, and 72% feel safe overall. However, only 51% of us feel safe going downtown, which brings us back to the whole question of perception versus reality. Clay says the fewest amount of crimes are actually happening in the downtown.
If you look at the actual statistics, calls for service is one of the safest places in the city at all aspects of times of the day. There's a spike between midnight and 3 a.m., which would be anticipated because the bars close around that time. But actually, there's a larger spike in the rest of the city at that time.
And because the perception doesn't match the reality, Clay says they are putting more of an outreach emphasis on the downtown with foot and bike patrols.
Another part of town that's often thought of as being unsafe is here in the city's southeast side. But Oxton says this side of town actually saw a decrease in crime from 2015 to 2016.
Now, because we are a growing community and there are more court filings, more resources are being put into public safety. Clay says St. Cloud has 212 sworn police officers, and he is proposing adding another one in the 2018 budget. The largest portion of the city's public budget is in public safety, which includes police, fire, and inspections. At the county level, Kendall says they've been adding extra staff in child protection services, paralegals, and support staff. She says they are hoping to add attorneys soon. A staffing study should be ready for the county commissioners by the end of this month. So if crime is actually stable in the city, why is it that some people may have a different opinion?
The whole environment of social media is that information, I think, is out there quicker, it gets out faster, but the potential for misinformation is also there. And sometimes misinformation can cause a ton of problems for, I think, the general public and when they don't know what to believe.
The mayor agrees that social media does prove to be a challenge.
One of the most significant things that happened here was last year on September 17th when the incident at the mall. I don't know how much I saw on Twitter about multiple deaths and gunshots.
And while Kleiss admits crime is 100% when it's happening to you,
there's not a single place in this city that I wouldn't feel uncomfortable walking at any time of the day alone because it's a safe community.
Jim Maurice, WJON.